Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Bhadram Karnebhih Shruniyam Devaah Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraah Sthirairangaistuštuvagum sastanubhih Vyashema devahitai yadayuh Swasti na indro vruddhashravah Swasti nः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. The Kaivalya Upanishad belongs to the Atharva Veda. Every Upanishad is associated with one of the four Vedas. The Rig Veda has the Aitareya Upanishad. Yajurveda has Krishna Yajurveda has Kathopanishad. Shukla Yajurveda has Ishavasya Upanishad. Atharva Veda has Kaivalya Upanishad, Mundaka, Mandukya, and then Samaveda has Chandogya Upanishad. So like this, the Vedas and the Upanishads are associated with one another. And while studying a particular Upanishad, we chant the introductory mantra, the Shanty Mantra, belonging to that Veda. So the Atharva Veda Shanty Mantra is what was just chanted. Bhadram Karnebhih Shruniyam Devaah. O the Adhishthana Devatas, the presiding deities of the sense organs, may we hear only that which is auspicious. Bhadram Pashyema Akshibhihi Yajatraha. May we only see that which is auspicious. May we not see inauspicious things at all. Sthiraihi angaihi tushtuvam sastanubhihi. May we have limbs. Limbs means what? The organs of action. May our organs of action be sthira. Sthira means what? Stable. Good health. May they be of good health. And why? So that we are able to worship you. We are able to worship you properly. This is why may they be of good health. And then Tushtuvam means so that we can praise you. O Bhagavan, if our health is good, we praise you with that good health. And then what? Devahitam. Devahitam yadayuhu. So we praise that which is ordained by Bhagavan as long as we may live, as long as life span exists. And may we enjoy this, Vyashema, may we enjoy doing this as long as we are alive. And may we praise the glory of the Jagat, the glory of Bhagavan, and may our lifespan be dedicated to honoring Bhagavan in the form of all the laws of the Jagat. And then Swasti Naha Indraha. Swasti means may there be well-being for us. From who? From Indra. who is himself Vriddhashrava, whose fame exceeds all the continents and all the lokas. And so may Indra make us famous, just like himself, in our studies, in our life, in our lives. And then Swastinaha Pusha Vishvaveda. Pusha means the sun, the omniscient sun. May the sun Bhagavan bless us with all the good things, who is all, Vishvaveda means all pervasive. Tarkshyah Garuda. May Garuda, destroy all the obstacles. Garuda is a celestial bird, and it is auspicious. It's like a white eagle, and may this eagle, this celestial bird, destroy all the obstacles in our path, and that is Arishtanemihi, the destroyer of all obstacles. And may Brihaspati, Bhagavan in the form of knowledge, is called Brihaspati, the teacher of the gods. Dadhatu, give us freedom from obstacles, freedom from ignorance. So that is basically the prayer, and it's a very, very nice prayer. And perhaps we can Xerox it and put it on the site sometime, and we can chant alongside. That will be nice. So somewhere there will be a printout, and I can do that sometime. Maybe next week we can do that. So this is the prayer, and the Shanty Mantra. The fact that there is a Shanty Mantra makes it seem like a very important study. And we have already seen what the Upanishad is. Upani are prefixes to that which destroys, that which leaves no trace of what? The self-ignorance, and that which definitely takes one back to oneself. This is Upanishad. And so this Upanishad, is called Kaivalya. Kaivalya means Kevalasya Bhava. Kaivalya. Kevalasya Bhavaha. Kevalasya Bhavam Kaivalyam. Very interesting how to know how these Upanishads are titled. There is one Upanishad called Keno Upanishad. Kena means by whom. So what does this mean? By whom Upanishad? Because it is titled after the first word. Because the rishis who channeled the Upanishads, it is believed, did not put their imprint on it. They did not claim the knowledge as their own. So they just left it like that. But you have to refer to and distinguish the Upanishads, correct? And so therefore, sometimes it is named after the first word, like Keno Upanishad. Isha Upanishad. Isha Vasyam Idam Sarvam, that's the first line, Isha Upanishad. And some others are named because of the content, like Prashna Upanishad. Prashna means question. It's not that the Upanishad is asking the question. The students are asking 6 questions in that Upanishad. The Upanishad comprises 6 questions which the students are putting forth. And that is what is called, that's why it is called Prashna Upanishad. And here, the Kaivalya, the word comes from the last stanza, last mantra. And if you look at the last mantra, you will see the word Kaivalya there. Very beautiful. Yeah. So, Tasmadevam Viditvainam Kaivalyam Phalam Ashnute. Kaivalyam Phalam Ashnuta iti. Kaivalyam Phalam Ashnute. Ashnute means what? Gains. Literally eats, enjoys, gains. What does the person gain? Kaivalyam. We will see that. The abstract noun of Kevala, which means only, not lonely, only. Tasmad means therefore, evam viditva enam, having understood this Upanishad in the manner that it is supposed to be understood, one gains this Kaivalya. Don't think of it as lonely, because you don't need to study the Upanishad in order to feel lonely, correct? Why? one already feels lonely. Yeah, that is the disconnection, that is the fear, that is samsara. And so if the person is told that after studying this Upanishad you will feel lonely, everybody will run away. And so therefore, Kevala means only. The only thing that there is, that which is whole, that which is limitless, that which happens to be the truth of you, is the only thing that there is. It is called Kevala. The abstract noun of that is Kaivalya. You know? And that which reveals that onlyness as the truth of yourself. So basically this Upanishad is a journey from loneliness to discovering the onlyness. Not that the word onlyness is a word, but just for the sake of understanding. So now, I told you that in every Upanishad there is a dialogue. And the dialogue gives us an understanding that this is not a belief-based thing. This is something that is based on one's own interest to know, and the person who has interest to know also has a lot of questions, a lot of notions that need to be dropped, comes from a certain infrastructure that needs to be interrogated. And so in the process of receiving this knowledge, there will be a lot of questions. And to show that, there is a dialogue, a special kind of dialogue that we saw last time. What is it called? Samvada. Not vada, which is between friends, not jalpa, some kind of bad argument, not vitanda, some speaking with a vengeance to put the other person down, but samvada, a special talk between the teacher and the students, where the student listens to the teacher with reverence and wants to be transformed as a result of this listening. And so here we have a story. Every Upanishad, not all of them, but most of them begin with what is called an Akhyayika. Akhyayika means a story where the characters are named. And so there are some other stories in the Upanishad where the characters are not named. That is not called Akhyayika. But the story where you have the name of the characters is called Akhyayika. And in this Akhyayika, like for example in the Kathopanishad, we have an Akhyayika. It's a conversation between who and who? Nachiketa and Lord Yama. It's a story. Nachiketa was banished to Yamaloka, and then what happened in Yamaloka? He met Yama, he met Lord Yama and asked him for this knowledge. So like this there is a story. So when you take the word Akhyayika, you should not think of a story with a plot like the Bollywood movies, you know. Bollywood movies will have a certain plot. You know, rich girl marries poor boy or falls in love with a poor boy, and then what? And first the parents don't know. Then, then there has to be a tree in the picture because they will sing songs. It's all a musical, yeah. They sing songs and dance around the tree. There has to be a few trees that they run around and sing songs, and then everybody lives happily ever after. That is not the Upanishad stories. Yeah, that is Bollywood, and without the tree, without the songs, nobody will see those movies, you know. And likewise, without these Akhyayikas, I think that it is to what is that? Manda Madhyama Adhikarinam. So for the persons who are qualified but who are still looking for some little way to connect to the whole situation, they're looking for a story, something to hang themselves, to get a little stable on, somewhere to follow. The story is given so that the story has many purposes. First, it is for Manda and Madhyama Adhikaris, because the Adhikaris, the ones who are qualified to gain this knowledge, as we will see, come in grades. There are qualifications and then there are qualifications. The qualifications apply to everybody. But the one who wants this knowledge really badly and wants it right now does not need a story. And the one who has complete emotional maturity and does not fall asleep as soon as the Shanty Mantra is recited does not require a story, does not require any entertainment, because Tattvamasi is this live entertainment. That itself is entertaining enough to know that I am not what I thought. I am not this, body, mind, sense complex. I am the whole. You don't need any other thing. This itself is complete. But everybody doesn't come from the same situation, correct? Sometimes the Shama is there, Dhamma is gone missing, Dhamma is there, Shama is not there, all that we'll see now. But certain qualifications are there and certain qualifications are not there in full measure. And the mind is, Chitta Naishchalyam is not there. Chitta Nishtalata. Nishchala means, Chala means what? Chala means moves. Yeah, Nishchala doesn't move. Chitta, the inner instrument, the mind. So a mind that does not move is called Chitta, Nishchala Chitta. But here, the Chitta Naishchalyam is not there. And why is it not there? Because distractions are too many. So, Chitta Nishchalata means the calming down of the mind. For that we need some antaranga sadhana, inner practices such as meditation. And so therefore, if that is not there, or for many other reasons, the mind is distracted. So the story will hook the person in, will bring the person from where they are. The Upanishad, as I said, she is so loving that she comes to you where you are. And so even the most distracted person should sit up and say, oh, Lord Yama, oh, Nachiketa, oh, let me find out what happened. Oh, then what happened? So then the person is interested to sit and listen, not once, but until the story completes itself, until it culminates in the knowledge of the self. The person's interest is kept for those who need that. Then the second purpose, the Akhyayika or the story, these small stories serve, especially when we have the characters that are named, is that it will always be the story of someone famous. It's not that some Shapa drama, somebody who just sits and eats and sleeps. He went to a teacher and gained the knowledge. That nobody is interested. Correct? But when you say someone like Shaunaka, who is this Shaunaka? The student in the Mundaka Upanishad. Shaunako havai mahashalaha angirasam gurum vidhivat upasannaf papricha. So, this, Shaunaka, not an ordinary roadside Shaunaka, maybe it's a common name. No, Shaunaka, who is qualified by the title Mahashalaha, the most giving person, the one who has a huge hall. What's the big deal? Even in my basement there is a big hall. People can think like that. Especially Indian immigrants in this country, they will build a big hall in the basement. And then what? That is converted into a storage space. It's converted into a theatre, some games, ping pong and all those things. Home theatre, all these things. But here he has a big hall, not for his own enjoyment, but it's a place where he does annadanam. What is annadanam? The serving of food, giving of food. He practices giving away a lot of food. And why? Because he's always doing yajnas, and each yajna is incomplete without annadanam. And so, when you understand this, that this, not the roadside Shaunaka, some roadside Romeo going in for this knowledge, no, that's not inspiring. But this Shaunaka who had everything, so in order to do annadanam, what do you need? Paisa? You need money, correct? Without money, however, you can't beg rice from the neighbor and do annadanam, that's not correct. So you need money, You need all kinds of resources. You need, money to build a big hall. Then you need money for the fire ritual. And then you invite all these people. Whoever needs food comes, and they all have a square meal frequently. And so such a person who has everything that one can desire, we find this person leaving everything and going to the teacher and saying, Kon vasmin, what is it that knowing one thing, everything else can be known? What is that I am missing? I have everything. Everybody thinks I have everything. And I also intellectually feel I know I have everything. But somehow there is an emptiness, a loneliness. What is that? So when Shaunaka approaches the teacher for this knowledge, then we sit up. Because Shaunaka is not an ordinary person. He is a sage. Some of the mantras in the Veda are attributed to him. So he is a learned man. A learned person is approaching the teacher, and a person who is famous is approaching the teacher. So therefore, it gives the doubting Thomas student a lot of courage. Because to come to Vedanta needs a certain courage. You can't have a puk heart. What is that? The one that's always jumping into the throat. A frog heart. What will happen if I don't get this knowledge? Puk. What will happen if I do get this knowledge? Really speaking, the fear of success and fear of failure are one and the same thing. There's no difference. It's just fear. It attaches to failure, and then if the failure is going to look like it's going to turn into success, then it attaches to success. Silly thing. So, therefore, when we find that such a famous person from a famous lineage has gone and approached a teacher even though the person was rich, and always it emphasizes that the person was very well off. And even though the person was well off, they are going to get that from the teacher, which obviously all their resources, all their big hall, big enough to roll around, is not going to accomplish. So then the student who is reading this Upanishad or learning this Upanishad is empowered to say, okay, I'm not the only one. Even Shaunaka did this. Correct? Yeah, so that is the second purpose of the story in the Upanishad. Very beautiful if you really look at it. And the third purpose is for the sake of what is called Brahma Vidya Stutyartham. Brahma Vidya Stuti. Stuti means praise. Praise of this knowledge. Like, look, all these famous people are going to gain this knowledge. So this knowledge is not like the knowledge of any other thing in the universe. And so, this is something to be gained. So Brahma Vidya Stuti. And that is why again in the Mundaka Upanishad, we have the whole lineage given in the beginning, at the outset. Om Brahma Devanam Prathamas Sambhabhuva Vishvasya Karta Bhuvanasya Gopta Sa Brahma Vidyam Sarva Vidya Varishtham Atharvaya Jyeshta Putraya Praha. This Brahmaji had this knowledge with him, the one who is ascribed with the function of creating, Bhagavan in the form of the creator, and gave it to his eldest son. And the eldest son then gave it to somebody else, and then somebody else, and somebody else, and then Shaunaka went to that person who was taught, who was a direct descendant from the student of Brahmaji. So like this, it gives confidence. So this Brahma Vidya Stuti. Stuti means the praise of this knowledge. And why should this knowledge should be praised? The infinite, the knowledge of the infinite, does it need praise? And can you praise that which is limitless? Any words of praise are going to fall short. But here we are talking of the limited minds. Yeah, the limited minds. And so for these reasons, the Akhyayika becomes very important to follow. And so here also, and the last purpose is to show that this knowledge can only be gained from a teacher. Because in all these Akhyayikas, these story lines, there is one common thing. There is one or many students, more than one student, and then there will always be one teacher. Pippaladaha was the name of the teacher in the Prashnopanishad. In the Kena Upanishad there is student and teacher, but they are not, they are not named. And therefore it doesn't begin with a story. So the story comes later. It's very interesting in that Upanishad. And so here, this the purpose, the final purpose of the Akhyayika is to understand this precise point. And what is that point? That I have to gain the knowledge properly from the proper source. This is not about sitting and reading the Upanishad. What are you going to understand? It's not sitting and reading it, and it's not trying to figure it out. It is not analyzing it. It is not trying to read something with my own infrastructure. Because the problem is the fact that my own infrastructure is coming in the way of my knowing this knowledge. And so the infrastructure has to be dealt with even as I give up or suspend that infrastructure to gain this knowledge. And so the problem is, one, it's a contradiction in terms, the knower who wants to know has to know the knower. That's a contradiction in terms. And because of this reason, because the knower is already endowed with certain ideas about what the self is and what the self is not. Like I told you in the introductory lectures, that I am helpless, I am hopeless, I am an idiot, I am not good enough, seeking validation, seeking approval. And that primary feeling of those, that I am a wanting person, is the one who is trying to figure out that I am a non-wanting person. It can never happen. So therefore, the knowledge has to come from someone who is equipped to teach this knowledge, who has herself or himself studied the knowledge under the proper auspices of another teacher, and only then the knowledge can be understood. To underscore this point, the Akhyayika repeatedly shows the meeting of the student with the teacher. So here too, there are two characters. One is called the sage Āśvalāyana. Āśvalāyana, the son of Āśvalāyana. Āśvalāyanasya apatyam Āśvalāyanaha. That's his name. And then he is considered a very evolved sage. In fact, he channeled the Rig Veda, perhaps after gaining this knowledge. and then he is also associated, Āśvalāyana's name is associated with the Āśvalāyana Sutras. Traditionally when you introduce yourself in India, what you do is you say your Veda, which family of which Veda your family practices in your lineage. You say which Sutra, Baudhayana Sutra, Apastamba Sutra, Āśvalāyana Sutra, Gautama, all these, there are 4 sutras. And so you say the name of the Rishi, whose sutra means the know-how, the technicalities of how to live in the day-to-day. There may be so many, it's just like if you make the same recipe, something common. You make banana bread. In 5 families, there will be different recipes, correct? And if you go to each family, they will say, this is how we have been doing it. This recipe was got from grandma, great-grandma. We put cinnamon. Somebody else will say, no, we put cardamom, and this is our recipe. So similarly, in the matters of religious, worship and the leading of the life day to day, what are certain rules to be followed? The sutra means those are the sutras that guide us, and Āśvalāyana is credited with being the author of one of the 4 sutras. So this is a very exalted person. This is not a nobody, not some kind of a person who had nothing better to do. This is an exalted thinking person, and this man approaches the teacher. And who is the teacher? Prajapati. Prajapati is Brahmaji, Prajanam Patihi, Brahmaji himself. And Brahmaji seems to have an abiding presence in the Atharva Veda. Mundaka also he is there. And so he approaches Prajapati and says, please teach me this knowledge. So let us read. Om Atha Āśvalāyanah
Āśvalāyana
Bhagavantam Parameshtinam Upasametya Uvacha Adhihi Bhagavo Brahma Vidyam Varishtham Sada Sadbhihi Sevyamanam Nigudham Yayachirat Sarva Papam Vyapohya Parat Param Purusham Yati Vidvan Om Iti. The Upanishad starts with the word Om. What is Om? Kim tat Om? What is Om? Om is Bhagavan, yeah. Correct?
Yeah.
Om is a name for Bhagavan given by the Upanishad herself. Om, the root verb ava. Ava, to protect. Ava plus manin etymologically becomes Om ultimately. That which protects. Bhagavan protects. Om. And if you study the Mandukya Upanishad, there the Om is imbued with the status of being the entire truth of the universe, which is related to the truth of the waker, the dreamer, the sleeper. So it is your truth, it's the truth of universe, it's the truth of Ishvara. That is Om. One word says it all. And so of course the Upanishad begins with a prayer of, already the Atharva Veda prayer is there, no problem. But in addition we have one more prayer here. A short one says Om. Very nice. And why to pray? Mangala Suchakam. Its sound is auspicious. You keep saying Om, Om, Om. You feel good about yourself. Yeah. You feel good. You feel, little less burdened perhaps. Because it has that auspicious effect. And why does it have that auspicious effect? And the next word also, Atha. Atha literally means thereafter. But that also has an auspicious effect. There is a story in the Puranas that Lord Shiva, Bhagavan, told this Brahmaji, all is one, but this is a story, okay? Yeah. So Bhagavan told Brahmaji, go ahead and create this universe now. And Brahmaji said, Om, Atha, and the whole thing was created. Omkarascha atha shabdascha dvavetau brahmanah pura kantham bhitva viniryatau tasmat mangalikau ubhau. Tasman mangalika ubhau. So there are two words which are auspicious. Om and Atha. Why? Because in the making of this universe, in the creating of this universe, what happened? These are the two words that escaped the throat, even without him desiring it, escaped the throat of the creator Brahmaji spontaneously. And would you agree that the Jagat is well done? Yeah. So even Brahmaji thought, not bad. Shabash, he told himself, I have made a good Jagat. Om, Atha, these are the words that came along with the Jagat. And so therefore what? These are considered, since the Jagat is Pujya, it is nothing but the limitless whole in this myriad of names and forms, all so wonderfully thought out. No, it's not wonderful. What you're saying, this Jagat is wonderful. That's why I'm here, because I don't like the Jagat. Jagat is a source of pain and sorrow. That's why I'm hoping this 1 month course will help me. What are you meaning it's wonderful? It is wonderful. You know why? Because it brought you here. Huh? Yahi baat hai, that was the purpose. So it brought you here. So of course it is wonderful. It's making you pursue the most exalted of the knowledge. You know, through the greatest technological innovation, you know, the computer, internet. We are enjoying the best way we can enjoy the internet by accessing the internet. That's what we are doing. So it is. It has brought you here. You know, screaming, pushing, crying, shoving. You have arrived here, and so the purpose has been fulfilled. So therefore, we have to see that even disorder is part of the order. So this whole Jagat is flawless expression of Bhagavan, an orderly expression of Bhagavan, and therefore Om and Atha hold, you know, great reverence, and great Suchaka means the indicators. They are the greatest of indicators of auspiciousness. Another reason why they are auspicious is because we say it in the beginning, correct? So that the work is auspicious. But who cares about the beginning? The beginning becomes important only when it ends well, correct? Who cares if it begins well or not? You know? If it has a good ending, then obviously it is well wrapped up. It has seen the conclusion and the culmination of whatever it needed, wherever it needed to take, you know, and wherever it needed to take the person, the student. And so it is well done. And so when you say Om Atha, the beginning is ensured, yes, but the end is also ensured. What kind of end? Very successful end. And that's why either Om or Atha is used. But this we are hearing both the terms together, so it's double auspiciousness for us. Double auspiciousness. Like for example, sometimes Om is used. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha. There Om is used. Athato Dharma Jignasa. Dharma Sutras are there. Atha, Ataha, you know, Dharma Jignasa. Athato Brahma Jignasa in the Brahma Sutras. But here what? Om Atha. Very nice. You know? And then Om Atha. Om is a Mangala Vachaka for this reason. And since we are studying the most auspicious of knowledges, knowledge bases, actually speaking, we can't call, you know, knowledge of something, you know, knowledge of anything, branch, like philosophy, psychology. We cannot call it knowledge. We cannot call it knowledge because in reference to the Upanishad, all that is just information. Knowledge means this, you know. And so, here what happened? Āśvalāyana. Who is Āśvalāyana? I just told you. And what did he do? So, we'll see the words later. Uvacha. You know, the way to decode the Upanishad is to understand is to catch hold of the verb. That is the best way to understand. So how do you catch hold of the verb? You go uvacha. Uvacha means said. A long time ago. Meaning this is not happening now. Yeah. A long time ago he said. What did he say? You know, that will come to later. There are a few other qualifying words that are needing to be addressed here. So, how did he say? Samupetya uvacha. Some means what? We saw that in the last Sanskrit class. Well done, nicely done. Some, upa, some, and some plus upa plus in, gatau, in the sense of going. So how did he go? he went very well and he went close, upa. To what? To the teacher, of course. Samupetya means he approached the teacher as the teacher should be approached. There are certain rules in the tradition, how to approach the teacher, how to deal with the teacher, how to talk to the teacher. There are certain rules, and they are not given just for the sake of pastime, because there is a direct connection between the reverence for the knowledge and the reverence for the one who is transmitting the knowledge, whether it be the Shastra or whether it be the person who is transmitting the knowledge of the Shastra, the teacher. So in either case, that reverence is really a reverence for the self. Because if I want the knowledge that much, then only I will get it. And I trust myself and I want this so much that I am going to make sure that I am in the correct place, and I have the deepest regard for the teacher and the teachings. So here Āśvalāyana looks like he knew what he was doing. He didn't have to read a manual, Somebody asked me, is there a manual of how to deal with a teacher? I said, maybe you should write one. So, we don't need manual because this is automatic for us. We don't need a manual because this comes automatically. Why? You see the elders in the tradition, how they deal with the teachers, and then you imbibe that through osmosis. You see other people and you also learn very quickly. And so here the Āśvalāyana looks like he had read the manual, meaning he was very well studied in the tradition, he was observant, and plus he had great regard for the Vidya, Brahma Vidya, Atma Vidya, the knowledge of Brahman, the knowledge of oneself, and so that he did not have to be told a few things. He did not have to be told, you need a teacher. That came naturally to him. He did not spend a lot of time roaming around, running around false leads, following false leads. This is what the jiva does in life. Oh, there something shines. Let's run after it. Maybe that will make me fulfilled. Oh, look here. There is, they teach you how to breathe and you can breathe your way to moksha. Only $750 per weekend. You run there because you're so desperate. Desperate feelings call for desperate measures. And so, the person swallows a pumpkin, swallows anything possible. You run here, helter-skelter, and after several thousand lifetimes, then you say, oh, maybe I have missed it. Maybe I am not doing something. I have a strange feeling I am not doing what I am supposed to. But that was not the case with our protagonist, our hero of the Upanishad. Who is that? Āśvalāyana. Āśvalāyana did not waste time running around, beating around bushes, following false red herrings and following, silly leads which are dead-end leads, dead-end leads that don't lead you anywhere. Āśvalāyana straight away decided. And look, this is what the Upanishad wants us to see, the emotional maturity that must have been there to have bypassed all this needless seeking, to have honed in on what the problem is, and not only that, to have had the wherewithal, the discrimination and the discernment to not only look at the problem, but also know that the solution was not found by oneself, that one needs help. Even though he was such a great sage, he did not shy away from seeking help, and he went straight to the teacher. He did not say, oh, I am too good to, I know everything. Because this often happens. With famous people, that's what happens. And in another Akhyayika, what does this remind you of? Chandogya Upanishad, Bhuma Vidya. And there in the 7th chapter of the Chandogya Upanishad, we have Narada approaching Sanat Kumara. And Narada again says, I know everything, but Shojami, I still am subject to sorrow. Then Sanat Kumara asks, what do you know? And he lists a big list of everything. I know Rig Veda, I know Yajur Veda, I know Sama Veda, I know Atharva Veda. As a scholar, as a Pandit, I know Shiksha, I know Kalpa, Vyakarna. Everything I know. And Sanat Kumara has a hearty laugh. But still Narada doesn't get offended and run away. He could have got offended. What are you? I thought you were going to teach me, but here you are laughing at my expense. No, he stayed there and gained the knowledge. He stayed there, and did that. And so that just shows that no matter how famous one is, one can still suffer from self-ignorance. Self-ignorance is not that it spares the people who have lot of money or it spares the people who are famous. No. You can be a rishi but still have self-ignorance. Rishi means you are highly evolved in certain ways and you have a way of looking at the subject matter and you are a duradarshi. You can see things far away and you can make some conclusions that are good for, that helps the people in the Jagat. But still you can suffer from self-ignorance. And to show that no one is exempt, they have taken Āśvalāyana here, and he is not only an exalted sage, but a very exalted student who does not appear to need any cues. This is how you should approach. Oh dear, you need a teacher, and this is what you should do the teacher. Don't be, don't slap the teacher on the back and say, yo teacher, you have to treat the teacher properly. All this instruction he did not need. Straight away he approaches the teacher properly, vidhivat, according to the laid down guidelines. And then what? Uvacha, asks. And then a little bit about the teacher, because if the student is so exalted, the teacher is not also some person off the street, correct? Yeah. Although if you know Brahma Vidya, that is all that you need. But here we are talking of a story to inspire the people to study this Upanishad. So the teacher is also none other than Lord Brahmaji himself. And that is shown by Āśvalāyana Parameshtinam. Parameshtinam Bhagavantam Uvacha. Upasametya Uvacha. So the teacher is described by two words. The teacher is described by one word which is Parameshtinam, Parameshti, and Bhagavantam, both in second case. Bhagavantam means what? Bhagavan. Yeah. So this exalted student here in the story approaches the teacher that is most exalted. Parameshti means grand guru. Yeah. So you have guru, means the person who you are studying from is guru. Then their guru is Paramaguru, and their guru's guru is Parameshti Guru. So here Parameshti means the guru, the Mahaguru, the great grand guru of all beings is none other than Lord Brahmaji. Not to be confused with Brahman, that's why I say Brahmaji. And this Brahmaji, is also described by another word. What is that? Bhagavantam. Second case of the word Bhagavan. Bhagavan, Bhagavantau, Bhagavantaha, Bhagavantam, that. Bhagavan. And what is Bhagavan? Who is Bhagavan? The one who has Bhaga, correct? Because the word, the suffix van means the wielder of, the haver of. So if you say Balavan, the one who has Balam, what is Balam? Strength. Dhanavan, this everyone knows. The one who has Dhanam, what is Dhanam? Wealth. And then Bhagavan is who? The one who has Bhaga. Who is this Bhaga? What is this Bhaga? The Bhaga is sixfold virtues in limitless measure. That is called Bhaga. This is according to the, Shastra. And what are the sixfold Bhagas? One is Aishwaryam. Aishwaryam means overlordship. which is unsurpassed. There is no one else to lord this overlord. Overlordship, the complete overlordship. Samagram, everything, total. And then Shri. Shri means all the resources, not just money. Happiness, abundance, prosperity, everything. That's why Lakshmi is married to the Lord. Goddess Lakshmi. And as long as you know that, you are okay. If you start thinking Lakshmi belongs to me, you are in trouble, because she belongs to the Lord, not to you. Yeah. That's why she keeps going away. She goes back to where she belongs. And that's why she is seen as elusive. So, Aishwaryam, Shri, and then Jnanam, Samagram, Jnanam. All knowledge. That's why we say Bhagavan is Sarvagyaha, Sarvavit, knows Chinese. That's why you can pray to Bhagavan in Chinese. Yeah, you can offer Chinese food as Naivedya. They do that in China. Where else? They're not going to sit and make modaks. They will make something else, which is their own modak. So, in China they will, worship in their own way. In Tibet they will worship in their own way. So, Bhagavan knows all languages, all cultures. So, Samagram, Jnanam, a conscious entity who is totally free of all ignorance. Jnanam, whose knowledge is not tainted by ignorance at all. And then, how many have we finished? 3. Then, Samagram, Vairagyam. What is Vairagyam? Dispassion. That is why, when you make an offering of 108 ladus to Bhagavan Krishna, he does not eat a single one. He leaves all that for you. That is why you can offer. Because total Vairagyam. If supposing he started to eat, nobody would offer 108. They will just say one is enough. But he leaves everything for you. He just sniffs it, that's all. Devaha paroksha priyaha. The Bhagavan is always remotely pleased by just this remote laddus just being waved under the nose. Doesn't have to eat to feel satisfied. And so here too, Samagram Vairagyam is not, even though the owner of all overlordship, the owner of all wealth and resources is not attached to that wealth. Then Samagram Balam, all strength belongs to whom? And finally Samagram Viryam. Viryam means Samarthyam, the ability to project the universe, the ability to sustain the universe, the ability to take back the universe when its time is up, is called Viryam. Usually what happens, you are good at starting something. There are many people who will start the project. You ask them to run it, they run away. They don't like to run it. They will start it, leave it half-baked and go away. Then there are some people who are hopeless at starting projects. You give them a ready-made project, they will run it. But don't ask them to start it. Then there are people, certain other people, who can neither start nor run. What are they good at? They are only good at joining a demolition crew. You ask them to wind up stuff and destroy things, they will come and wind everything up. Like Lord Rudra, they will wind the whole thing up. Yeah. Rudra winds up the Jagat, and so this person winds up everything. They are good at that. So that shows the weakness of the jiva. Either one is good at one thing or two things, but the one who has full, say over all these 3 functions without any problem is Bhagavan. So this is Bhagavan, the whole, and here Bhagavantam samupetya, Parameshtinam samupetya, this Bhagavan he approached. And also this is a little pun here, because the Guru is also referred to as Bhagavan. Why? Because the Guru teaches about what? Bhagavan. And the Guru teaches about Bhagavan is non-separate, is seen as non-separate from the Bhagavan that the Guru is teaching about. So therefore the Guru is addressed as Bhagavan. This is also made very, very clear. And so he uvacha. What did he uvacha? Let us look at the next line. Kya bola? What did he say? Adhihi Bhagavan. Hey Bhagava, hey Bhagavan. Bhagavan means what? Bhagavan is the vocative case of Bhagavan. You don't say Bhagavan, you say Bhagavan. So it's the vocative case. So when you call out to Bhagavan, when you refer to Bhagavan as Bhagavan is the Karta, then you say Bhagavan. But if you call out to Bhagavan, oh Lord, where are you? Then you say Bhagavan. So he says, hey Bhagavan, Adhihi. Adhihi means, please teach me. And the word teach is a very interesting word. With regard to the Brahma Vidya, this is so fascinating. With regard to the word Brahma Vidya, Atma Vidya, self-knowledge, the word Adhihi is very important because it says something. It says, Madartham Smara. Please remember for my sake. Remember what? How you were taught. Remember, what was it that you learnt? How did your teacher teach you? Recall that time when you were a student and please teach me. Because the teacher of Brahma Vidya has a big responsibility. And what is that responsibility? To remove the self-ignorance. To remove self-ignorance, that's a huge responsibility. And the removal of the self-ignorance comes along with a certain vidhivat. There is a certain pedagogy that comes along with the teaching. So it's not just the teaching, the methodology is also inherited from the teacher. How to remove the ignorance. And so he says, please recall all that. And, and teach. Because it's a big job. Because we have to teach someone who is convinced that they are not the whole. You have to teach them, you are indeed the whole. So there's a lot of, wrong notions, stubborn notions, fears, resistances, blocks, hopelessness, helplessness, discouragement. And all that has to be just sifted through and penetrated through, and then the teaching has to take place. And so therefore, very humbly he asks, Adhihi Bhagavan. Adhihi Bhagavan. What Adhihi? Because he could want to know so many things. How to make chapatis, Adhihi. How did you learn from your mother? How to make chapati is Indian flatbread. So how to make flatbread, Adhihi? No, that is not what he is asking. What is he asking? Adhihi what? Brahma Vidyam Adhihi. So he knows what to ask for. That there is such a knowledge called Brahma Vidya. He knows. And that there is such a teaching, he knows. So Brahma Vidyam, second case, object, Adhihi, please teach me this Brahma Vidya. And when did he ask this? Atha, the second meaning of the word Atha, which comes after Om. He asked thereafter. Atha uvacha. Therefore, thereafter. What is this thereafter? Meaning, having led a full life, having led a life of where he might have been pursuing various things. What kind of things? Dead end things that left him deadened to life, where he was pursuing useless things because he did not know what to pursue. He did not know that what he really wanted was not one more thing, but to stop being wanting. What one really wants is to stop being wanting. And so therefore the word Atha shows the qualifications that Āśvalāyana, while asking, is already endowed with. And what are those qualifications? The basic minimum qualifications for studying this teaching. Every knowledge begs some prerequisites. You can't go from high school and say, I'm going to do my master's degree. What will happen? Nothing will happen. You have to have a graduate, you have to go to college. You have to have a bachelor's in order to gain the master's degree. And similarly, you cannot just say, I'm going to go for a PhD. I'm going to go for some calculus when I barely can add two numbers. You cannot do that. So everything has a prerequisite. And for Brahma Vidya also, there are certain prerequisites, which Āśvalāyana we see is very much endowed. Even in the whole approach, we see the endowment of all those qualifications. And those qualifications are only 4 in number. See, we don't have to worry. Yeah, only 4. 4 things you can get. And this being Kali Yuga, we don't wait till the qualifications are gained in order to go to the teacher. Because what will happen if that's the case? Yeah, the knowledge will never be imparted. So, in the olden times, if the student came unprepared, the teacher would immediately give a key. What key? The master key that unlocks Yena Vijnanena Sarvam Vijnatam Bhavati, the master key that unlocks that knowledge, knowing which everything is known? No. The key to the cow shed. Yeah. Go and make some patties. Yeah. Cow dung patties. And take the cows for a wash. Take them to the water. Take them to graze. And let them come back. And usually there would be 10 cows. And the teacher would say 10 cows or 1 cow. In one story there is 1 cow in the Chandogya. And the teacher says, I'll see you when there are 400. And the boy's name is Satyakama. And Satyakama means the lover of truth. And this boy is just thinking, oh my God, how am I, when, I'll be an old man by the time he's given 1 cow. And I'll see, when is the next class? Oh Guru, when is the next class? After after this cow, then just a few, little while we'll take a break. When is the next class? After this cow, it becomes 400. Finished, Yeah, what to do? Because the qualifications are not there. And the qualifications have to be gained. When the qualifications is 9/10 of the knowledge is just one small little fraction, really speaking. And the qualifications have to be, really taken seriously. And that's why the Upanishad has some fascinating stories. Indra, the king of heaven, goes again to Prajapati, same teacher, And there in the 8th chapter of the Chandogya Upanishad, Indra is not qualified by the word Adha. So, Adha Indra Uvacha, no. No Adha there. Indra is, full of, I am the cat's cream, I am the ruler of the universe, and I just, I have some pelf, I have power, and I'm greatly worshipped. Every yajna says Indraya Swaha and Idam Namava, and so I'm like this. And Indra goes, and along with him, this is very metaphorical, along with him, the king of the demons also goes, because the king of the demons is a very insecure fellow. Indra goes for self-knowledge, and the king of the demon is really a copycat. He does whatever Indra does. So his name is Virochana. He also goes. And Indra, puts on some vibhuti, to approach the teacher, takes a shower and puts on vibhuti. And Virochana also puts on vibhuti, looks like a zebra, so many stripes. Then Indra prostrates before the teacher. Virochana, also being the copycat, prostrates before Prajapati. Prajapati is sitting quietly. And certainly he is not going to give the knowledge to the king of the demons. Imagine if the king of the demons is told, you are akarta, you are not responsible for your actions. Already he is unleashing a reign of terror. There is no dharma, there is no understanding. Imagine if he is told that, he will say, yeah, I knew that, already I knew that. I'm glad that the Guru has also confirmed it. And he will go unrepentant and, put the world in even more peril. So Prajapati was very clear he is not going to give the knowledge. And then what? They both say we are ready for class. So Prajapati says, okay, class is fine, we'll have class. Om Sahana Vavatu, Sahanau Bhunaktu, Sahaviryam Karavavahai, Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. It's a one syllable monosyllabic class. He says, Da. What? Question, hello? What? Om Purnavadah Purnavidam. End of class. Wait, we didn't understand. When is the next class? After 33 years. 33 years? I'm already 66. So, what do you mean 33 years? Now, after 33 years, come back. What should I do? The way to the cowshed is through the back of the ashram. So, for 33 years, do seva to the cows. And the hope, and I think there is an abiding presence of cow seva. And now, there is an expression, and I'm starting to think that if you do seva to the cows, you stop having a cow. Having a cow is an expression, various grudges. So if you do seva to the cows, you stop having a cow of grudges. You stop having grudges, and you become a person who is ready. So the person is able to do anything for the sake of the knowledge. This is the kind of a person, this is the kind of qualifications we are talking about. This is what is called mumukshutvam. I'm not going in order because this is much more, it's alive if we do it this way. I'll do anything for the sake of the knowledge because my desire level for this teaching is so high that I'm able to gain this knowledge no matter what. Mumukshutvam. And this mumukshutvam really is jijñāsutvam. What is jijñāsutvam? The desire for teaching. Mumukshutvam, the desire to be free from a sense of want, and for that sake I need the teaching because I cannot learn it otherwise. This is jijñāsutvam. And so then tomorrow morning we will see the rest of the qualifications and see what all happens. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Any questions? Somebody from Malaysia. Let's see. Yeah, you are right here. You are here with me. Adhihi. What do you mean you don't know the spelling? Did you see that? Yeah. You see the adhihi. If you look at the back page of the please download this. Download this. Kaivalya Upanishad, Kamala, and you will see that behind the Sanskrit is the English transliteration, and then that will teach you the spelling. Adhihi. It's right here. In fact, I can point it out to you. Do you see that? Adhihi. Just above my finger. Yeah. So there was a question, very important question from Arun. Where did it go? If Brahmaji is the author of gives us such precious knowledge, why is he so little worshipped in India? Yeah, this is a very good question. Because there is a Puranic story that he had a curse from Lord Shiva. But that's not the real reason. The real reason is Brahmaji is seen as the maker of the Jagat. Correct? So the Jagat means samsara. So we don't really worship more samsara. We want to resolve the samsara. That is the real reason. Yeah. Knowledge is Brahman, only Paravidya. No, Aparavidya is Brahman. Everything is Brahman, but Brahman is not Aparavidya. That's what we have to understand. Yeah. What? What else? Any other questions? What time is it in Malaysia? Shanti? Maybe morning, huh? What is the significance of the number 33? No, it's a long time to gain Brahma Vidya, that's all. Just an arbitrary number. Could be 36, could be, doesn't matter. I just said some number, and Upanishad has some number. It's just an arbitrary number. Virochana symbolizing a person who has partial knowledge. No, he has no knowledge. Yeah, partial knowledge is no knowledge. This knowledge of the whole is impartite and whole, so you can't have partial knowledge. That is called Ardhanda Nyaya in the Sanskrit Shastra. Ardhanda Nyaya means you have somebody gives you gave this person an egg and said, "This is from my own hen, please accept this egg." And so the person saw it was a beautiful big egg, and he made a decision in his mind. He said, half the egg I will make an omelette, and the other half I will keep it under some hay for hatching. Yeah. So this is called Ardhanda Nyaya. So you can't do that with Brahma Vidya. So if you know a little bit of Brahma Vidya, you still don't know. Either you wholly know it or you are wholly ignorant. Okay? Yeah. You can have levels of clarity. That's all. You can't have levels of what's its name? Brahma Vidya. Yeah. And then there was one more question here. I think I've answered everything. Yeah. Yeah. What if you have a personal question? What you have to do is you say type chat with the host, and then it will only come to start chat with, and then you select host. Then it will only I can see it, and you can do that. I will wait for you. Other people, can go if they don't have other questions. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.